Alrighty, folks, if you are a landlord, it is time to buckle up. Apparently, from the month of May to the month of June, delinquencies have gone up 50%. Yes, folks, delinquencies have gone up 50%. Now, in total, they've gone from about 7.5 to 11.5%. But hey, if we want to spin a scary tale, we will just tell you that delinquencies shot up 50% month on month. We're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about, is it a sign of things to come, or is it just a statistical nature? Because hey, it's summer and people are taking off. Dana, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. So, just to let you guys know, on these numbers, we look at online payments only. And the reason for that of like tenants who've always paid on time, or sorry, who's paid online, because you run this risk of saying it's delinquent if the landlord is just lazy about entering it into the system,
Yeah.
right? So, we try when we talk about tenants paying later, not paying on time, we try to make the numbers where it's like, hey, this tenant has paid online. Once you start paying online, it's very rare to be like, hey, I'm going to
Yeah.
pay via cash, right? So we've tried to make the data as unbiased or like having
It's
manual
clean.
error
It's
as
it's clean.
possible, like
Yeah.
clean data.
Yeah.
And I can't figure this out because we know that like when January 1st comes around, everyone spent all their money for
Yeah.
Christmas. We know it's going to be harder. There's a lot more dials our team is doing. But it's really interesting, our like mediation and eviction shield team, which helps figure out why tenants are past due and is sending out calls starting on the third of the month to say, hey, how can we help make sure you pay? They were very overworked, let me just say, in June because they were making so many more calls, which is what is signaled from the data. And I can't figure that out. If it's summer travels, I was trying to break it down by, state, by
Yeah.
county, if there's anything there. And it was just overall nationwide that we saw this happen. And so I was interested in understanding why have delinquencies gone up so much, and really getting a gauge from you, Michael, on it.
Yeah, when I hear this in total, the first cut of the data I would want to see that maybe gives me a clue is single family home versus apartment.
Versus multifamily. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the first cut I would want because basically what I'm trying to uncover here, because again, you're absolutely right. I've been a landlord for 25 years. In June is not historically a spike in delinquencies, right?
Hmm.
January for sure. December even to some extent, because people are, buying gifts. But June is certainly not a month that I'm like, oh, I got to buckle up. Delinquencies are going to be 50% higher. So
Yeah.
this is definitely something we have to drill into. And, without looking at the data, without any other slices of it, the only thing I can assume, Dana, is this is a very clear sign that the consumer is stretched. I mean,
Hmm.
what was June? June was really high oil and gas prices, right? May and June.
Yeah.
And, gas is just one of those things that you got to do every 3 or 4 days or weeks, depending on how much you drive. And you see it all the time. And maybe it's a sign that renters just are so close to the edge that they're choosing to be delinquent and to pay the penalty, because 99% of landlords will have a penalty on this.
Yep.
And it's definitely something to watch because, as you know, a single month or a single data point is nothing. We want the trend, right?
Yeah.
So if July, like for example, we can play this one in two ways. So we go from 7.5 to 11.5. If we're at anything north of 10 for July, this is a problem. But if it
Yeah.
just rolls over and it's 8.5 in July, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
weather. I mean, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
But that's my first, kind of, you throw at this at me cold. What my first reaction is, we might be seeing in real time, because again, the other thing that people don't realize about Hemlane, and specifically what you bring to the channel, is you've got tens and tens of thousands of clients that are giving us access to data.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe this is a sign the consumer's in trouble.
Yeah, and that's I think what worries me um the most about it is that it's one of those things where I didn't look at it multifamily versus single family, so I'll do that cut of the data and I can share that next week. But I did do it by location to say, hey, is it some sort of market? Maybe there's something weird going on with that property manager or something, oh,
Yeah.
there or something that would like get the numbers high, but that's not the case. And so, yeah, I just don't have a
Yeah.
answer to it right now.
The other thing I would do if you want to, take another homework item or give this to someone else is you likely have a median rent. I'm just going to pick a number,
Yep.
$1,800. And I'd want to know what the delinquencies are above and below that median. Because
Yeah.
is it the lower income folks that are struggling, or is it the higher end that's in trouble? Maybe you've uncovered the nail that AI is killing white collar. I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah.
so that would be the other cut I'd want. Multifamily versus
Okay.
singles. And then whatever your national median is, above and below that, is there a statistical difference, or is it just everybody's in trouble?
Yeah, I love it. Now, one of the other interesting things that we did with the data is just look at if you have a tenant who's delinquent. So delinquent means that they didn't pay on the first of the month or whenever rent was due. So it's delinquent the second, the third, whatever it is of the month. We take Section 8 payments out because obviously those are also recorded later.
Yep.
Most TAP payments, like housing assistance, we see comes in on the first of the month, but you would be surprised. There's a lot of markets where it doesn't come in until the fifth of the month.
Yeah.
That we've seen. And so then the question is like, what do you do after that? We kind of looked at what happens if you start communicating with the tenant very early on. And we can see this in the data, or if you're using our eviction shield. Either way, like, is the owner outreaching the tenant, creating a very professional log on day 2, day 3, day 4? It's interesting, if it gets worked earlier, it gets resolved within the median resolution is 6.1 days. So what that means is you're able to collect on the rent or set up a payment program within 6.1 days. What is if you're working it later, so this is like after the 10th of the month, you're starting to be like, hey tenant, you're past due on rent. What we find with those is that the resolution is 48.1 days. So much longer to actually get the rent, write it as uncollectible, whatever it may be, work through a payment plan. Yeah. And so every day that you wait from the rent being due, you have a huge risk that you're never going to collect on it.
Oh, for sure.
And then here was the other interesting thing. If you work it earlier, so day 2, the tenant's late, day 3, the tenant's day 4, the percentage that reach court is 0.9%. 0.9%. So not like 1%. Yeah. It's such a low number. Yeah. If you're working it early, it doesn't go to court. Those who have the tenants delinquents and then they're not even following up till later, it's just over 7% that reach court, which is a huge number. 7% of all of those that are delinquent reach court. And so I think like the big takeaway there as well is like, hey, tenants want to work with you. Hopefully they do, not all of them, but you want to, if you're starting to see tenants pay late, don't assume just because they paid on the first and now they're paying on the second of the month that this trend is okay and maybe it's just a one-off. You want to work these cases so much sooner. And so that was really interesting to me as well.
Yeah, what I would tell a new landlord is you got to remember the top line is your job. It's your responsibility. And you're providing a service, and they've agreed to pay you for that service. Your job is to manage to the letter of the law. And if it's due on the 1st and it's late on the 5th, you should be talking, on the 3rd and reaching, especially today with today's technology, right? I'm not talking about posting a notice on their door. I'm talking about texting them, right? Emailing them.
Yeah.
And the sooner you do that, the better, because again, I've had thousands, if not tens of thousands of tenants, and sometimes life happens. And, the sooner you figure out they're never going to pay you, the better. And that's what this is for me, because it's cute to talk about, 99.1% of people work it out. But basically what I think you're trying to do as a landlord is to find the 2 or 3 people a year who are gaming you. They're whispering sweet nothings in your ear, but they're just lying their ass off. because, if you give them an extra 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks you never get back.
Yeah.
And that's what it is for me. That's what I would tell landlords is communicate, often, communicate fast, document, and don't be afraid to pull that trigger. Because again, there will be some people that have no intention of paying you. And if they could string you along for 4 weeks, they will, because that's a free month for them. So, find those people faster.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing about it is that I always thought that notices would, and like I was always in the mindset of just serve the notice because that scares someone. When someone like pounds on your door and puts the
Yeah.
notice on there, they're just so much more likely to pay.
Mhm.
It's really interesting because what we find is once a tenant is delinquent, so like after the first of the month, 47% just kind of pay on their own before the landlord outreaches, maybe on the second, maybe the third of the month. 41% pay during mediation. There's some outreach from the owner, from our team if you're on eviction shield, to like another roughly 40%.
Mhm.
The amount that actually gets resolved after a formal notice is only 4%. So of course, resolved through court is the smallest percentage. Like that's
Sure.
if you have to. But that was really shocking to me because I always thought, hey, the second you serve a notice, like now you have like a 50% chance of collection. It's actually not. And I still recommend it, right? Because
Oh, you
then
have to. Yeah.
you have to go through that process. But that was also another really interesting thing to me, that mediation was so much more important and valuable from a collection perspective than actually serving the notice.
Yeah, and again, the power there is, there are some tenants that are just in, there are hiccups in their income streams, or they had
Yeah.
a blown out tire and they had to, just
Yeah.
life happens, right? Nobody's got emergency funds these days. And the folks that go through mediation and are communicating, that's the key to all of this. Are they really communicating with you? And are they
Yeah.
really, giving, and then, they want to make up for it. They don't want to move. Moving is expensive. Let's just get that
Yes.
off the table.
Yeah.
Moving is expensive.
Yeah.
So they want to stay. But then again, there are people that are just, they're, oh yeah, I'll call you at 3 and they never call. Or,
Yeah.
they do this and they're not there. Those people are just gaming the system and they're trying to get 2, 3, 4 weeks of free rent from you. They know they're gone. They're just going to take every last day they can. So you got to
Yeah.
find those people quick.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it's something that I'm going to slice the data for you next week a bit more,
Nice.
Michael, and give you some more information there. But seeing those numbers go up, usually I don't report on it because the news is it holds
Yeah.
steady. But that was
Yeah.
the 50% increase was definitely a shock to me.
Yeah. Well, again, lots of landlords need to be using HemLane. You obviously have Eviction Shield and so much free services, paid services. If somebody wanted to check out what you have, what should they do?
Yeah, you can go to hemlane.com, HEMLANE.com. Just mention one rental at a time because you do get our highest discount, which is 20% off your first year. And then we have a ton of free stuff. So we have free resources.
Yeah.
We have rent estimates. You can advertise your rental property on all the listing websites, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, etc., for free. So go ahead and check all those out as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana. Take care. Have a good week.
Great. Thanks so much. You too.